What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this one, we have why the Netherlands doesn't build skyscrapers. Before we jump into this, if you guys happen to enjoy, don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button to receive your exclusive benefits. And let's find out why they're not building no skyscrapers.
The Netherlands is facing one of the worst housing crises in Europe. It is also the densest real country in Europe. So why doesn't it build up? Why doesn't the Netherlands build skyscrapers? Jeroen Bouwman is a young urban planner, and he's angry. None of his friends can afford a home. Some take the train all the way from Almere just to study in Amsterdam. No one should have to live in Almere. But Jeroen isn't the type of guy to sit by while people...
I can relate, my boy. I can absolutely freaking relate. These prices these days, over here in the U.S., you can't afford a home. Like it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. You feel like young adults are having to live with their parents even longer now, just because the prices out here, man, are ridiculous. Like rent is just consistently going up while wages are not, and it's the cost of living, bro. It's getting insane. It honestly is. But anyway, back to the video. I'm sorry.
People are suffering, especially when the solution is obvious. He read a paper. Adding a single housing unit for every 100 existing units lowered rent by 0.5%. But that's too low. Jeroen wants to cut everyone's rent in half. And he can do it. If he builds 100 apartments for every 100 homes already in the city, it will be too hard to build them. They'll cry. Where would you even put them? They'll yell. Well, I'll tell them. China built 800 apartments in 19 days with a 57-story tall skyscraper. We'll start by dividing the city into square kilometers. There's about 2,500 homes per square kilometer in Amsterdam.
Okay.
So for roughly every 800 housing units, we'll have to build one of these skyscrapers. In each square kilometer, we'll put 3, maybe even 4. You can cry about it being too ambitious. That's fine. But cry about it after everyone's rent has been halved. He gathers up his plans and heads to City Hall.
Now that sounds like a dream, bro. I don't the way they talking about it so far. I mean, I can't wait to like hear the cons of people. Why people are against it, because there has to be a reason. But for rent to be cut in half, you came to me with that idea, and I'm signing the petition. I'm going to the city council with whoever we got to go to. I'm following right behind you.
Tall buildings may seem like an obvious solution to not enough homes, but the real world isn't that simple. Skyscrapers can be deceptively expensive. The taller the building, the pricier it can become. Elevator shafts, mechanical systems, infrastructure to fight against wind.
True.
Purely the additional cost of having to move building material up more floors. Even if you manage to find developers willing to foot the bill, it's assuming that they can drive a profit. If you flood the market with hundreds of thousands of new units, rents reduce, which means that the amount of investment developers are willing to put down for tall buildings declines. Maybe you could have giant government-funded commie blocks instead, but then you need to have political will. People buy houses with an assumption that the area will stay somewhat constant. They get emotionally attached to their neighborhood and take it personally when threatened with change. A house isn't just a home, it's also people's biggest financial asset. If you flood the market with thousands of new units, property values drop. People's savings plummet. It's neither economically nor politically feasible.
I feel like that is true. Yeah, price values are definitely gonna drop, but at the same time, I just feel like if you can cut rent in half, there'll be so many. Like life will be so much more affordable to so many at the same time. And so I feel like there's just pros and cons for both sides of the argument.
And that's why, Jeroen, we can't build your skyscrapers. I'm sorry, but I have to say no to your proposal. Jeroen is already home, and his boss is right. Tall buildings are only profitable if they're built in the right place. In expensive parts of the city, the value of an additional room is negligible. Instead, we need to find the areas where density is at a premium. So Amsterdam must replace its city center with skyscrapers. The logic, irrefutable and genius. The red light district is filled with tourists and insecure British men. Just fill in some canals and demolish some old buildings. 2 birds, 1 stone. Jeroen smirks, impressed with his brilliance. This time, he'll listen. He gathers up his plans and heads to City Hall.
Let's see what they say.
Skyscrapers in the Netherlands may seem rare, but there are exceptions. After the war, houses were desperately needed. At the same time, buildings were changing. Demolishing existing homes for new ones has always been controversial. But if there were no buildings, you'd have less of a problem. During the war, Rotterdam was heavily bombed, then rebuilt. Places where historic buildings once stood were covered with new towers of concrete and steel. But Amsterdam was never bombed. Its high-rise experiments were pushed outside its center. This created new problems. In the Bijlmer, high-rise designs were seen as strange and also expensive. The tall buildings remained empty. Vacancies and mismanagement meant Amsterdam's high-rises were symbols of what not to do with tall buildings. The public became skeptical. The rules were made stricter. Architects favored small-scale designs that mimicked the old city. In the following decades, building vertically was stigmatized. Skyscrapers can't radically alter the historic character of the city. Changes to the skyline silhouette are closely evaluated for any new building. Buffer zones around the World Heritage Sites have strict requirements to preserve the aesthetics of the old city. The center is off limits. And that's why, Jeroen, we can't build your skyscrapers. Jeroen is...
Yeah. I guess no matter what situation that he think of where to put the skyscrapers, there's going to be reasons that you can't build them there. At the end of the day, I think when you're doing, and especially infrastructure, you're just not going to please everyone. There's always going to be people upset. Some kind of group of people is going to be upset. But I think you just got to do what's in the best interest for the whole, what's in the best interest for the many. And if skyscrapers are in the best interest of the majority, then that's what you got to do. But if they're going to be too much of more of a problem than a solution, then you can't.
Is angry. His boss shot down another genius plan with a smug Gen X smile. You fools, he laughs. You cry about the lack of homes and call it a right, but you won't even let me build them. I won't stop until every person in need of a home is housed in a tower high above the ground. If the center won't work, I've got other sites in mind. Multiple, actually.
Oh.
And even better, there are no historical buildings in my way. In fact, the plots have been empty for decades.
Oh.
Instead of the inner ring, we can fill all of Amsterdam's empty green plots with high-rise buildings. The Bijlmer was too far away from all the action, not close and cheap enough to be attractive. Using these empty green plots of land, we can still build high-rises within the center. Transit won't be an afterthought, it's already there. Soaring towers will house people and businesses alike. Every amenity is only a short walk away. His predecessors were wrong. Jeroen is right. The ideal was never a city in a park. People from all over the world will flock to his utopian city within a park within a city. Jeroen leans back, admiring his brilliance, and puts the finishing touches on his third proposal.
It's about to get
The Netherlands is situated at a moderately high latitude. It has cloudy skies for much of the year. And Jeroen knows how
This is what you do, Jeroen. The Netherlands are the masters of water. We know that. You make a plan to reclaim some more land from the water. And you build your high rises there. I don't know everything that goes into it. I don't know the process, but god dang it. Housing is an issue that needs to be solved, and if there's no more space to build more houses horizontally, then we need to start building vertically.
important it is to get enough light. His 9 square meter room in his shared student house has a tiny window facing a dingy courtyard. He pays 1,100 euros and has barely enough sun to keep a single plant alive. And his 7 roommates are loud,
Crazy.
really loud. If he wants to get his new plan done in time, he has to use his desktop PC after work. With any desk, Jeroen could be working remotely, paying 300 euros a month in rent and not have a vitamin D deficiency.
Oh.
He could even render complex 3D models of his proposed plans with virtually no lag, easily accessing his office computer to use all the programs and files he needs to create his architectural plans, from his laptop, phone, or tablet, no matter what operating system he's running. Once ready, his boss could feedback him easily with the whiteboard and text chat features. Maybe, if more of his friends worked remotely, they wouldn't have to live in a shoebox either. But Jeroen is going to fix that. Try out the best remote desktop software for free at hoog.best/anydesk3. Daylight is a limited resource. Dutch regulations require new buildings to comply with sunlight requirements. As buildings get taller, their bases have to get wider and deeper to support the added weight. This means less light reaches the building's interior. With the daylight requirements, the amount of usable floor space is constrained. But if there isn't enough floor space to rent out, the developer may not make a profit. It probably also doesn't help that the Netherlands is flat. Any addition to the skyline is immediately visible. Like daylight, green space is precious. In Amsterdam, it's not easy to build on them. The government aims for all citizens to live within a 10-minute walk from a park, a 15-minute bike ride to a nature reserve. Greenery is supposed to be the default in public spaces, instead of pavement. And Jeroen, that's why we can't build your skyscrapers in all the city's parks. This is getting kind of silly, don't you? Again.
At this point, I'm hurting for Jeroen, bro. Because Jeroen just keep thinking and thinking and thinking. And everything that he's thinking of is getting shot down. And each time that he thinks of a new idea, I know he's thinking, this is the one, this is perfect. And then it gets shot down.
He rejects me. Just another old man. Change is too scary and hard, no matter how great. He and all of his friends can't see genius anymore, even when it's right in front of their eyes. One day, he and his kind will look down on Amsterdam from a retirement skyscraper I've built specifically for them. When he's about to die, he'll think of Jeroen and thank me for his last beautiful view. The boss remembers his own youthful eagerness. There was once a time where he thought he had all the answers too. Part of him agrees. How can someone look at the kids in tents and tell them a tall building isn't the answer, even if it means a home? The boss calls up Jeroen. Maybe try again. I want to see the other interesting things you can come up with. Jeroen smiles and looks down at the plan he was already drawing. If he can't build in the city center and he can't build in the parks, he'll build in a place no one cares about. He'll surround the city with a belt of skyscrapers. His city, Jeroen's rules. He'll correct the mistakes of his forefathers. Mixed use, dense, and desirable. All of the city's young people will gravitate to his new modern city. Building it in a giant line, he'll guarantee adequate green space on either side without getting rid of light. The old will admire his creation from afar, his shining city on a polder. The Netherlands is the storm drain of Western Europe. For thousands of years, rivers and tides have routinely flooded the landscape, depositing layers of loose clay and dead plants across it. When humans first settled here, the country was a plain of mudflats and grassy marshland. This made building a challenge. Soft clay and peat compress, making buildings sink or collapse as they experience unequal stress on their foundations. To avoid this, Amsterdam was built on millions of timber piles stuck into the ground. It works, but when buildings get bigger, so do the problems. The tallest buildings in the Netherlands have foundation piles that extend 66 meters into the ground. Amsterdam is no Manhattan, where you can build close to the surface. Jeroen, you keep making a wrong assumption, that building tall is immediately affordable. The engineer's report came back with the site survey. To construct such tall buildings on soft soil would cost a lot of money. No one will build there. Banks won't finance it. Jeroen, that's why we can't build these skyscrapers. I like your ideas, but you gotta start smaller.
God dang.
He knows all the arguments by heart now. Value in cities is driven by people clustering in small areas, generating and attracting goods and services. Everyone's desire to live and work in the same place raises demand for space. You can't just build a new giant city and expect demand to follow. But what if you could, Jeroen thinks. So many people need homes. How can they say there isn't demand in its most important city?
Yeah.
Maybe not from people who already own property in the center.
Exactly.
Gerda, who leaves her 3-story home one day a month to go to the opera she only pretends to enjoy. Yelling at any new construction on her street as though it wasn't the most interesting drama she's faced in years. She might not need skyscrapers. My generation does.
Mm-hmm.
If they say there isn't a demand, I'll prove it by starting small, but building tall. Jeroen draws up another, final plan. Right at Noord Station is an empty plot of land. With the station nearby, the amenities for a new urban center already exists.
Oh.
There's even some high-rises, but they're too small. We can go higher. We'll build one skyscraper here, 100 stories tall. It will turn Noord into the center of Amsterdam's future. Studio apartments for a manageable price, a proper view of the city for those who fuel it. Tell me the demand isn't there when hundreds of applications come in asking to stay. He gathers up his plans and heads to City Hall.
It gotta work, dog.
You know what, Jeroen? Let's give it a try. I'll approve your plan, but you must know, it's out of my hands.
Hey, come on, you. Hey, Yvonne, I got my fingers crossed for you, my boy. Yvonne. I'm over here praying for you. We going through. I feel like I done been rejected multiple times. Come on.
Jeroen stands in front of the council and starts to speak. He describes the scale of the crisis, how many of his fellow citizens are struggling to find housing. Where is our ambition, our ability to dream? Our building should match the height of our aspirations, not fall to the level of our cynicism. Let's build for the sky, he yells. As he shows his plan, silence falls over the chamber. The councilors shift in their seats and glance at each other. Finally, one member breaks the silence. Jeroen, if you stick your head above the crop field, it'll get chopped off. Where you see ambition, we see arrogance. Some might get away with it, giant skyscrapers plastered with their names. But this isn't Manhattan, this isn't Dubai. We have Dick Schoof. Jeroen, doe normaal. The rest of the council smiles, and then they laugh. But the laughter doesn't stop. All that work, just to be seen as a fool. Jeroen stares at his feet. His cheeks are flush. He knows that they can see it too, so they flush even more. They're right. How could I ever have thought so big? That time when he was 8 years old and told a French farmer's kid about his Xbox. His dad yelled at him on their family vacation to be quiet in front of everyone. He felt the same way then as he did now. He never thought he came off arrogant, he just thought he'd share. All those times he told his friends about his dreams to build, for them to just laugh, smirk, and say, I'll believe it when it's real. Does everyone think I'm an arrogant snob? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this, he thinks. Better I start small. Go back to my room. Focus on something else. Maybe I'll make a YouTube channel, maybe a few videos, maybe even more. Maybe one day I can tell the true story of why the Netherlands doesn't build tall.
Dang, bro. That was crazy. That was such a good freaking video, bro. Like, they would never gonna let them build. And it's like, bro, like, do y'all not see the demand? Do y'all not see that people, the cost of living is at an expensive price? Do y'all not see the needs of so many? And it's like, I understand all the complications that come with building the skyscraper that they talked about in this video. I don't know the process, but he couldn't get one in a place where they already got amenities. But I mean, when you think about it, these developers and these landlords and everybody with money is gonna fight it because why? Right now they can charge whatever they want to for rent, but you start building skyscrapers, you start adding more housing at cheaper prices. That's where people are gonna go, and then they're gonna have to drop their prices to be competitive and keep people staying. And so, yeah, they're gonna fight you tooth and nail every step of the way, but I rock with his way of thinking. Um, Everybody who's considered genius, right, or we consider genius at some point, has probably been laughed at or mocked or told their ideas are crazy or dumb. So that's all we got. Let me know what you guys think about the video. What you guys think about building skyscrapers in the Netherlands. You enjoyed. Please don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the next. I'll see y'all next time.